Hello, my name is Neil Schneider. I'm the founder of Meant to Be Seen, or MTBS-3D.com, and I'm also the executive director for the Immersive Technology Alliance, or the ITA. And I just wanted to send a big congratulations, a warm shout out to the Oculus team for, of course, their launch of the CV1 Oculus Rift. Congratulations, you guys worked really hard for it, and from the MTBS community, from the Immersive Technology Alliance, we just wanted to congratulate you. Now, I just got this today, and today being Monday, so I didn't really have a chance to test it out, for a formal review here on MTBS. But there's all kinds of sites that are writing wonderful reviews, and they can do that really well, perhaps even better than we can. So I thought it'd be a nice change of pace to share a few stories, because Oculus and the Oculus Rift was very much born from MTBS, and it's a wonderful story, and I think it speaks to not just what people are capable of, but what the industry is capable of as well, provided the right conditions are in place. And in this case, I just want to share, I call them my Palmer Lucky stories. Okay, and Palmer, of course, is the founder of Oculus. Now, I'm going to share with you 4 big stories today. Okay, they're not really that big, they're not that long, but they all tie in. So the first are going to be 3 stories about CES. Okay, so story 1 takes place December 2011. This is before the Rift was even in the mind's eye, or at least in the public mind's eye. And Palmer was a moderator in the MTBS discussion forums for some time, and he wanted to attend CES. Now, CES is, of course, one of the biggest electronic shows in the world. It takes place in Las Vegas each year in early January. He wanted to go to the show, but he needed a place to stay. So what happened was, out of the blue, he just, he Skyped me. I go, beep, 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 and the Skype goes off. That's what happens with Palmer. And he pinged me. He said, "Hey, Neil, are you going to CES?" I go, "Yeah, I'm going to CES." He said, "Well, I need a place to stay. Can I stay in your hotel?" What? I said, "Your hotel room. Can I stay in your hotel room? And don't worry, I'll pay my share, and if necessary, I'll sleep on the floor if I have to." Well, this was really an awkward moment. I mean, I never met Palmer in person. I mean, of course, we Skyped on a regular basis, but I never met him in person. And, more important is I didn't really want to share a hotel room with anyone. It had nothing to do with Palmer Lucky. I didn't want to share a hotel room with anyone. And my wife was absolutely horrified at the idea. Not for my sake. It was more for Palmer's sake, because you really don't want to share a hotel room with me. I mean, my wife will confirm that. It wasn't to Palmer's benefit to share a hotel room with me. That's all I'm going to say. And anyways, so what happened was he told us how much he wanted to spend, and we said, "Oh, no problem." So my wife, she found a place for him to stay. She actually found him a nice hotel at Circus, and he had his own room. He had dignity. I mean, everyone was happy, and he had a great time at CES. So this ties in. Now, I want you to remember this moment, okay? So here's a guy. I mean, he wasn't poor. He's just a down-to-earth guy. And, he was happy to share a hotel room, and he would have slept on the floor if necessary, okay? So just remember that moment. So fast forward to CES, January 2013. So story number 2. And what happens is, Oculus, of course, they had their famous Kickstarter. Their goal was to raise $250,000. They ended up raising close to $2.5 million. And, of course, Palmer was no longer staying at Circus. Instead, we're at CES. And Oculus has made arrangements for limousines to take people to and from their private suite at the Venetian. So I don't know if you've ever been to Vegas before, but going to the Venetian is a big upgrade from staying at Circus. Not that Circus is all that bad. So, and it just so happened that visiting them at the Venetian was my first real introduction to the Oculus Rift and modern virtual reality. And it really was amazing. I mean, everyone who saw it had the same, same response to it. And of course, that was very rudimentary compared to what they have and where they're heading. So let's move on to story number 3. So story 1, he wants to sleep in my hotel room. Story 2, he's got limousines taking people to and from the Venetian just to show their stuff at their private suite. So story number 3, September 2013, we're getting ready for CES, and I'm Skyping with Palmer. Getting ready for CES. I'm just going to read you the text, how it went. So Neil, can I stay at your hotel? And this is to Palmer. So there's this long pause. So I'm just Skyping with Palmer. Hey, Palmer, can I stay at your hotel? So there's this pregnant pause. Not for 10 seconds, not for 20 seconds, not a minute, not 2 minutes. 3 minutes go by. And Palmer says, as in same hotel or same room? Last year, we all stayed in one suite, the same one we used for demos. So he's really thinking this through. So I said to him, Palmer, don't you know when I'm pulling your leg? And so, of course, Palmer laughs, and I thought you might be, but you never know. So it just goes to show, maybe one day I'll sleep on the floor in his hotel. You never know what could happen in life. Now, as far as the Oculus Rift story is concerned, how it happened on MTBS. Now, there's the well-known story. Okay, the brief version, I think everybody knows it by now, is that Palmer started to share some ideas and schematics in the MTBS discussion forums. He said, "Hey, I have this idea for doing an affordable head-mounted display, and this is how I'd like to do it." And it just so happened that John Carmack, who is a fellow member in the MTBS forums, of course, discovered Palmer, and he reached out to him. Palmer sent him his only prototype that he literally duct taped together, threw it in the mail, and of course, Oculus is born. So it's a great story. But this is how I found out about this chance meeting and what came of it. So this is back in 2012. I was invited to speak at Display Week, and Display Week is the conference put on by the Society of Information Display. And I was invited to talk about stereoscopic 3D interfaces. So how do you do proper interfaces in a stereoscopic 3D environment? So to get ready for this presentation, I knew my share, but I was also doing research. And for whatever reason, I happened across John Carmack, and he was doing a video, and he was talking about how there's an additional 50 milliseconds in all display hardware. Like for whatever reason, whether it's a 3D television or whether it's one of the 3D HMDs in those days, for whatever reason, there was 50 milliseconds of latency that shouldn't have been there. Now, for me, I was really fascinated. I mean, I was watching him talk, and I'm listening to him talk and what he's saying about latency, and I thought, this is a guy I'd really like to know. So I immediately reached out to all my contacts. I mean, we have an advisory board, and whatever game developers I know, I'm emailing. Do you know John Carmack? Is there any way you could put me in touch with him? Anything we can do? And either A, people didn't know who he was, which is, it happens, it's understandable, or B, they knew who he was, but they had no idea how to reach him. So any way you look at it, no luck. So fine. So I took his clip because it was relevant to the presentation, and I did the presentation at Display Week the next day. Anyway, after the show, I go back to my hotel room, and I figured, I still want to find this guy. So I did a Google search, and lo and behold, not only did I find him, I found him on Meant to Be Seen. I mean, it wasn't even under an alias. It was John Carmack in the MTBS forums. And then as I did more searching, I found that for whatever reason, MTBS was appearing in all kinds of, stories, like, these media blogs and media stories. And what was happening was, not only was John Carmack on MTBS, but the timing was such that he was also at E3, and he was showing a very early prototype of what we now know as the Oculus Rift. So I immediately Skyped Palmer, and it's like, Palmer, what's going on? And of course Palmer explained, and that we connected through MTBS, and of course the relationship blossomed from there. And of course he was excited, as he should be. And well, we all know how things progressed from there. So it's a wonderful story. And yes, I mean, everyone's excited about virtual reality. But this is really, I mean, this is something that we're all very proud of. So what does Oculus mean to me? Okay, why is this? I mean, of course, I'm excited about virtual reality and and immersive technology. But what's the real victory of Oculus? Well, we have to think back when MTBS was founded in 2007. The community was created to prove that there was demand for stereoscopic 3D technology, because if we could prove that the demand was there, an industry would follow. I wanted to build a solid community where something could be built. I didn't just want people talking to each other. I wanted to facilitate something that, something could be accomplished. Something real could be built from it. And more than this, I didn't want it to be a top-down type of setup. I wanted it to be bottom up. And what I mean by that is, so top down would be like, hey, we want 3D or VR to be successful. Let's all shake hands and let's make it work. Versus bottom up is, there's a demonstrated demand for the technology, and then the resulting products are there because people really want those products. And that was very important. Now, so MTBS and everything that branched off from there, it really has been 10 years of work. I mean, it started in March of 2007, and it's not just so much work for myself. There's a lot of volunteers, a lot of investment, a lot of risk was put into that community to make it possible. And I really see Oculus as being the culmination of that work. It just made the whole thing worthwhile. And of course, we're very grateful. So I want to send out a personal thank you to Oculus for helping us give the work meaning. And I think it's been a tremendous success. Now, there are other people I want to thank. Now, if you look at the MTBS website, and it has been like this for a really long time, and almost since the beginning, there's barely any advertising on it. Okay, there's no Google ads. We have occasional advertisers that appear on it. No matter what we do on the site, you can call it a conscious choice, but I wanted the site to have a certain look. I never really wanted it to be commercial. I just wanted it there to make the industry work. That was always the goal behind it. And it's with thanks to the Stereoscopic 3D Gaming Alliance, which later became the Immersive Technology Alliance, or the ITA, that MTBS exists at all. I've never really shared this story before, but if we go back to 2009, what happened was we had some preliminary funding from the 3D industry, but that dried up. Like, that opportunity, it didn't exist anymore. And in 2009, people don't know this, but MTBS almost, couldn't exist anymore. Like, it almost literally went away in 2009. So, but what happened was we discovered that there was a need for an organization to represent the needs of stereoscopic 3D gaming and later virtual reality and immersive technology. And S3DGA was founded. And it was by being able to work for the Alliance as the executive director, it gave me the freedom to maintain Meant to Be Seen. Because if I didn't have a career, if I wasn't able to maintain a career in this space, I don't think MTBS would have been able to exist either. So I want to send out a special thank you to all the supporters of the Alliance. Because again, if it wasn't for your investments and your participation and your hard work, and this also goes to all the volunteers that have contributed to MTBS over the years, I really don't think any of this would have been possible. And I'm eternally grateful. So what now? Well, I just got the Rift, so I thought it'd be a great idea if I could unbox it, because I don't know what's inside. Well, I kind of know what's inside, but I want to see it for myself. And we're going to announce some more amazing stuff on MTBS. I won't give you a timeline on it, but we're going to have some cool things to announce. And, I really want I mean, the Rift, of course, is kind of the result of a lot of hard work from the Oculus and Facebook teams. But this is just the very beginning. And there isn't going to be, an easy path here. The industry is going to have to work very hard, and I call it, eternally vigilant on this, because it's going to be a long and a challenging road to get this industry to work long term. It will happen. Everyone's going to find their own path and their own means to make it happen, and the industry has to work together. So thank you. Big thank you to Oculus. Thank you for everyone who's played a part in helping build this industry. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you in the near future. So let me get started by unboxing this baby. Okay, just give me a minute here.